insights from the previous speakers, really, really nice. So, yeah, I am a learning experience designer, facilitator, trainer. I work mostly with multicultural teams in more than 40 countries. Besides that, I have kind of a secret life, not that secret, but I'm also a clown. Some years ago I started an organization that does clown visits to different organizations. In my lifetime I visited many different organizations, but mostly now we visit elderly care centers. And so what we do there is that we work through connection. So in elderly care settings, I don't know if anyone here has some family members in an institution, just raise your hand if you do. So a few of you know how they look like. They're not the happiest place on earth. They can be a place of chronic loneliness. My presentation is starting, so and what we do is that we bring laughter. Not laughter just for the sense of bringing joy, which is very needed, but also because it brings endorphins, it brings pain relief, physical pain relief, emotional relief. Sometimes it's one of the last visits they get. And we bring a lot of playfulness. I think this man was very happy this day because we got married. By this time it was probably the third time we were getting married. So what's the connection with all of what we've been talking here? I see a lot of connections between the work I do with groups, with learners, with organizations, and the work I do in clowning. First of all, the people that are in the homes and sometimes the people that are in the learning spaces, both don't want to be there. That's the first thing I notice. Many times it happens. And other problems happen. A lot of times there is emotional suffering. In one of these settings, of course, it's obvious the emotional suffering that might be going on, but at work as well. I think you would probably identify this, that there is burnout, that there is a lot of anxiety, there's also some sort of loneliness, of feeling that I have to sort out things by myself. There's not always emotional safety within the teams. And I feel there's a lot of disconnection. Sometimes people are missing someone to count on. I go to work and I come back and sometimes the feeling is a bit like I'm doing this on my own. There's a team, but maybe there's conflict, there's management, but maybe it's not easy, all those things. And there's lack of joy. And I don't mean the joy in the sense of jokes or, falling on my feet like I do as a clown, but lack of the positive experience of being with others at work. So what if we would design learning with the focus on connection? What would happen? This is what I tried to do. It wasn't really planned, and I don't have an acronym for it. It's not so thought of. It's just that it happens that I'm a clown and I cannot leave my clown at home. It brings me in troubles many times, but mostly I see it working. And what I notice is that when I bring this priority for connection, I don't take my clown nose, only sometimes. But when I give priority to connection, as I do in the homes, then what happens a lot is social learning. People are learning with and from each other, which means that then at their workplace, there is more of a chance of relational culture, where people feel that others are accessible because they were learning together. There is more psychological safety because through play, through lightness and joy in that sense, there is a more positive outtake of the work. So people feel, for example, safer to take risks or to trust each other, like you're saying. And not because now they feel more competent at taking risks, but because they don't feel alone at taking risks. So connection can be very important there. And of course, emotional regulation. We don't learn emotional regulation alone. We learn in relation. And for me, for all of these things, play equals practice. Playfulness in whatever way you see that. Is it by Lego serious play or improv games or gamification or all the wonderful ways we all learned to use. They can be a wonderful way to practice these skills, to practice having difficult conversations, practice receiving feedback in a positive way. And it's not just play, by the way. It's play plus reflection plus transference, of course. So play, when it's contextualized, can be so powerful. So what I wanted to bring to you today is that I think what I do as a clown is that I take this motto that how we feel shapes how we live. And so if I help the elderly people feel better, their life is better. And I think that how we feel shapes how we work, how we are productive and collaborative, etc. And so my invitation is, whatever is your next project, your next learning experience, try to think, how would you change it if connection was at the core? Thank you very much.